This is CBC Here and Now.
So I do think there's a place for Airbnb. I understand that the industry is being disrupted and nobody likes their industry being disrupted, but I do think a bit of this is a play to try to claw back market share that's been lost.
Short-term rentals are not paying the tourism marketing levy. That's $300,000 that could be put into more marketing for tourism in the city.
How closely should Airbnb be regulated? Some groups have called for regulations, and now the city of St. John's wants renters to pay the hotel levy.
Time is, to get that bridge done now.
Almost 2 years since the big storm hit, and things still aren't back to normal here in St. Albans.
When something like this happens, again, we feel like, it should be a priority.
Still waiting for a new bridge nearly 2 years after Hurricane Matthew destroyed the original. Here and Now's Garrett Berry takes us to the South Coast. Good evening, I'm Carolyn Stokes.
And I'm Ariana Kelland. The city of St. John's is critical of Airbnb, saying users don't pay their fair share.
And it's calling on the province to bring in regulations to fix that. Mark Quinn has been following this story and he's standing by live. So Mark, what is the mayor saying?
Well, Mayor Danny Breen says the city is missing out on an opportunity to collect a lot of money, about $300,000 worth of money, that is. And he says they're missing out on that amount of money because they don't collect a tax from people who rent Airbnbs. It's a 4% levy called the tourism marketing levy that they don't collect.
There are hundreds of Airbnb rentals like this in St. John's. But the people who rent them don't pay the same city tax that people who stay in places like this do. People here want that to change.
It's the same that you'd pay at a hotel or a bed and breakfast, and it's an important part of funding the tourism infrastructure that we have here in the city.
Right now, the tourism tax brings in about $3 million for the city every year. That money helps pay for the convention center and the city's tourism marketing. The city says Airbnb users should pony up for those things too.
The Airbnb or the short-term rental market avails of both of those services, and therefore we feel that they should be paying the 4% tourism marketing levy.
There's been a lot of talk about regulating Airbnbs over the past few weeks, but this Airbnb host says slow down. He says the city should think twice before it accuses Airbnb renters of not paying their fair share.
Generally, people who are staying on that platform stay longer, as much as 2 times, spend more money, again, as much as 2 times. And in many cases, I think the number is about 41% of the money they spend is in the neighborhood in which they stay.
Now, the city says there are about 700 Airbnb rentals available in the St. John's area. We've asked the province if they plan to change the rules that those Airbnbs play by, but so far the province hasn't responded yet. Live in St. John's, I'm Mark Quinn for Here and Now.
Well, Hospitality NL and the National Hotel Association have both suggested guidelines for Airbnb. You heard from Brandon Copeland there, who owns an Airbnb rental. He's concerned that much of the research around guidelines doesn't apply to this province. We'll have that interview in half an hour on Here and Now.
Well, it has been 2 years since the remnants of Hurricane Matthew struck the south coast of Newfoundland, and life in some towns still isn't back to normal. In St. Albans, road work has become a headache in more ways than one. Here Now's Garrett Berry explains.
The final touches. 22 months later, these roads are finally rebuilt. But look closer. Cracks are starting to show.
The wind and the rains and stuff we're getting is beyond what we've seen, and it's only going to get worse according to, the weather patterns.
Washed away in 2016, this pavement was laid last year.
And what we noticed that the shoulders of the road was washing away because we are getting more and more rain.
The mayor says curbs and ditches could help, but here's the problem. The provincial government's disaster relief program is funding the rebuild, and she says it won't pay for that type of work.
From what we've been told numerous times is that the funding that we received is only to put the roads back to the way that they were.
The Department of Municipal Affairs helps manage the program. It told us curbs and ditches could be covered, but in this case, they don't meet the program requirements, so no cash.
There might be a need to improve a little bit on that program, because as municipalities we're being told that with the change in weather patterns that we're going to get more rain, we're getting more wind and so on.
So maybe it's okay to say that the roadwork project could be improved. Fair enough. But at least it's being done. That's more than you can say for some projects in these parts.
On this day, no movement. The contractor is waiting for concrete girders to set, so drivers are using this.
And it's been, a significant amount of time now, and the community residents feel that the new bridge should have been well constructed by now.
The Department of Transportation and Works is in charge of this project. It says 2 years is about normal. That's how long it took a similar build in Topsail Road in St. John's.
Until those pieces are done, it'll forever be itching in everybody's minds.
Authorities say those pieces will be done before the end of the construction season. Garrett Berry, CBC News, St. Albans.
A lot of forest around Kenmount Terrace was destroyed in a fire earlier this year, but some tree planting began today.
There's actually quite a bit of sort of peaty soil underneath that I think these trees are going to do really well with.
A little bit of a positive response from the community, so that's been kind of great. A lot of people have come together.
I'm Jeremy, and I'll have that story coming up.
The race to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Windsor Lake MHA Kathy Bennett is starting to heat up. PC leader Ches Crosby is already out knocking on doors in the St. John's district, and now the Liberals officially have a candidate, high-profile St. John's businessman Paul Antle. Here Now's Terry Roberts is following that story today and joins us live from the newsroom. Terry.
Yes, Ariana. Well, today it became official. Kathy Bennett is no longer the MHA for Windsor Lake. She announced her departure 3 weeks ago without any fanfare, just a tweet, leaving politics after less than a term in office, one that will be remembered for her controversial time as finance minister and for her strong advocacy against harassment in politics and in the workplace and online bullying. So now the focus shifts to who will replace Bennett in the House of Assembly. And this man, PC leader Ches Crosby, has already been campaigning for a week, hungry to earn himself legitimacy in the eyes of voters ahead of next year's general election. At the helm for less than 4 months, Crosby admits his authority to lead the PCs would be seriously wounded if he fails to win a seat.
Well, I think it's important for the people of the province that the PC party, that I win this by-election, because this is really a rehearsal, a dress rehearsal, with most of the same issues that we're going to see played out next year in the general election. So in that sense, this is a critical by-election. It's going to tell us whether the government, the Liberal government under Mr. Ball, has a future or not, and it's going to be a bellwether for whether the PC party is going to form the next government.
Now, I asked Mr. Crosby today, just what will you do if you lose in Windsor Lake? He said he didn't even want to entertain that prospect, but he has told other media that he will simply just walk away from politics. Now, meanwhile, this is shaping up to be really a heavyweight contest. Nominations closed this afternoon for the Liberal Party, and Paul Antle was the only one to step forward. Antle has some strong business credentials and is no stranger to the political arena. He finished a strong second to Lorraine Michael of the NDP in St. John's East Kitty-Vitty in the 2015 general election and finished behind Premier Dwight Ball in a crowded field during the 2013 leadership race. Antle is expected to speak with the media on Wednesday when he launches his campaign. Now, I did speak to some officials with the NDP today. They said they have several people who are interested in representing the party in Windsor Lake. Now that that district is vacant, the rules say the by-election must be called within 60 days and a vote must be held within 95 days, but don't expect to have to wait that long. Premier Dwight Ball has signaled that he wants this thing done sooner rather than later, and I'm told voters in Windsor Lake could be casting ballots as soon as early October. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Terry Roberts.
Thanks, Terry. An overwhelming outpouring of support has followed the sudden death of VOCM reporter Mitch Kean. Kean had worked as the legislative reporter for the radio station. He took his own life this past weekend. Kean was 27 years old. He graduated from the University of King's College just a couple of years ago and was regarded as a bright, up-and-coming reporter. On VOCM's Open Line this morning, host Patty Daly urged for an open and honest conversation around mental health. Now, if you or someone you know is in distress or dealing with mental illness, there are places to turn. You can call the Provincial Mental Health Crisis Line at 1-888-737-4668.
The City of St. John's is once again having issues with parking meters, and it will be inconvenient for meter users. The meters will no longer be able to accept credit card payments as of August 28th. And that's because the company who supplies the meters is updating its reception from 2G to 3G. Mayor Danny Breen says that the city will not be updating the meters because it's an unnecessary expense, since the city is in the process of upgrading to a new system. Breen says credit card payments will be accepted in the near future through the Pay by Phone app. He says once the new system comes online, it will offer residents many more options.
Whenever the changes are made, it has to have different options for people. Not everybody's going to want to download the app. Not everybody's going to want to use their credit card. Not everybody's going to want to have a park card. So we're going to have multiple choices for people to use when parking downtown.
An investigation into smuggling between St. Pierre-Miquelon and the Burin Peninsula has turned up this: over 760-ounce bottles of contraband alcohol. The RCMP seized the bottles in an area between Point May and Fortune. Police say the liquor is being smuggled by locals who are known to police, but no one has been arrested yet.
A Rocky Harbor man whose house has been flooded twice this year by a backed-up sewer is getting help from some Good Samaritans. John Grant's neighbor, Amy Hancock, has started a GoFundMe page for him. She's hoping to raise $6,000 to assist Hancock. Grant says his insurance company won't cover sewage backups, and the town says it's working to find a way to prevent its culverts filling up during heavy rains.
Kaitlin Osmond will not be competing this winter. The reigning world figure skating champion made the announcement in a statement today. Earlier this year, the 22-year-old from Marystown said she would sit out the International Skating Union's Grand Prix circuit. Osmond became the first Canadian woman in 45 years to win the World Championship in March in Italy. She captured bronze at the Pyeongchang Olympics and helped the Canadian squad earn a gold medal. It is not uncommon for skaters to take time off after the Olympics. Patrick Chan took a year off after Sochi, and Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer also stepped away following the games in Russia.
Well, some people in Kenmount Terrace were out today replanting trees in part of the forest destroyed by fire. Last month, parts of the subdivision were evacuated because of a nearby fire that damaged several homes. But as Jeremy Eaton reports, the awful event has brought the community closer together.
Kenmount Terrace resident Victoria Beresford is one of the few volunteers that came out to plant trees today. She knows just how lucky many in this neighborhood were.
It was miraculous, actually, that we didn't lose a single home up here that day. There has been some damage to some of the closer houses, but the people can go home at the end of the day, and that's huge.
Last month, a fire threatened the peaceful suburb.
A lot of people were running house to house, helping people get their pets out or get sprinklering, using the hose in the back lawn, trying to keep things wet so that the houses wouldn't catch. There was a lot of community spirit that day. You kind of got to pull together in a situation like that.
Plant a mix of like spruce and fir. And
Today, Sarah Crocker and 3 members of the Green Team were wading through the burned mess of forest, planting new life.
We're here on kind of the edge of the forest fire, so the ground was not too badly burned. There's actually quite a bit of sort of peaty soil underneath that I think these trees are going to do really well with.
Crocker is with the Northeast Avalon ACAP, a group who had done work in the area on a neighborhood streams project. Today's project, a little bit different. Thanks to the Department of Forestry, they're planting more than 400 balsam fir and black spruce seedlings.
Kenmount Terrace is a great community, and we've done so much work to kind of help with the storm drains and education about pollution into our waterways, that we really want to maintain those connections and help people in a new development have like a really thriving and healthy neighborhood to live in.
It's not the first time the community has given back. Earlier this month, it hosted a barbecue for the first responders. A thank you for the hard work they did fighting this fire.
It was really sweet. They were so touched because they don't have that kind of thing done for them.
The hope is that this won't be the last tree planting effort here in Kenmount Terrace. Beresford says they'd like to plant another one in the fall to try to turn what is now black back to green. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, St. John's.
O2 Brute is a different kind of downtown bar. The St. John's business says it can cure customers' headaches and hangovers. No alcohol necessary.
Well, but how hard is it to sell fresh air to Newfoundlanders? Here now's Katie Breen swung by the Oxygen Bar to find out.
And here we are at O2 Brute Oxygen Bar here at the top level of Yespa's Social Bar on 7 Queen Street downtown. You get the air that's coming in, the 21% oxygen filled air, and it comes in into this machine, which has a whole bunch of filters in it. And it filters out the hydrogen, the nitrogen, the carbon, the methane, everything else that's in the air, and it purifies the oxygen to about 90 to 92% purity. Then it comes up through these hoses, which then go into these machines here, bubbles into these scented bottles, and then up into your nostrils through these sterile single-use cannula. It's a very energizing thing. The analogy I used before is it's like putting a better quality gas into a car. It's putting better quality oxygen into your body, into your bloodstream, so it just makes everything perform that much better. Sometimes it's a little bit of a hard sell, but when people do end up giving it a try, they're usually like, oh wow, that's actually really great. And a lot of the time they do become religious users of the oxygen.
So right now I can smell mountain berry, peach extract, pineapple coconut, and cranberry. So it's aromatherapy that's mixed into the oxygen as well. When I do it, I feel very energized. For one, I feel like I have a lot better cognitive function, and I just feel like it carries with me throughout the day.
When you get the good feeling that comes from the oxygen going through your body, it kind of overrides any negative feelings or any strange feelings of like having 2 pieces of plastic shoved up your schnoz. But there's a limit to how good you can feel. That's kind of just the curse of the human condition. So if you're already feeling good, you're not going to be made to feel sublime. Just come in and give it a try for $1 a minute plus tax. It's not that expensive of a thing. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you're not going to feel any better than you did before. Sure as heck not going to feel any worse either. Most people come out of here feeling a lot better than they did when they first came in. So it's worth a shot.
Well, there are things some people would rather forget, but soon the public will get to experience a side of this province's history as never seen before.
Her Majesty's Penitentiary is the oldest running prison in Canada, and now the efforts of one retired correctional officer is saving that history. That story is coming up. Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, we all have our collections, things we think are important that represent the past, family pictures, maybe jewelry. But for David Harvey, his interests are different. He's collecting homemade weapons and death records. It's all in an effort to keep prison history present.
These are all shanks that have been confiscated over the years down in the prison, from something so small, a little piece of plexiglass like that, to a toothbrush handle, sharpened toothbrush handle.
When an inmate whittled his toothbrush into a weapon, he likely never expected it would one day end up on display, or that an alternative use to the illustrated history of Canada would be carefully packed away in protective wrap.
Today is a good day, yes. Maddie and myself are here today. Now we're just packing up all our materials, and we're in the process of moving everything from here, from the prison, to Queen's College, where it will be documented, and eventually it'll be displayed in there.
An exhibit on HMP's history. It's been a long time coming for David Harvey. He retired as a captain at HMP in 2014, but he's hardly put the prison behind him. His fascination with crime and punishment has only grown. It started here in the basement of the prison's gymnasium. What looked like old, useless books turned out to hold incredible pieces of the past. With the help of inmates and other correctional officers, Harvey began to collect items that document the prison's history. It culminated in this makeshift museum. After years of pushing for the documents to be protected, the provincial archive stepped in.
So this ledger is one that was probably the most damaged.
That's where conservator Mickey Lee comes in. She stabilized the papers so they could be digitized and preserved.
As I was doing the work, I realized I had to stop reading so much and get on with my work. So I would actually just scan the charges and the remarks and then go over, and yeah, it made for really good reading.
The oldest documents date back to 1838, long before HMP is where it is today. Items so old, some employees at the rooms started to get sick when they began working on the old ledgers.
We sampled on the outside, inside, and on the spines of all the material that we had. And what came up was really high levels of arsenic, lead, and copper.
With some detective work, Mickey Lee discovered that those deadly elements were used in pesticides, back when these documents lived at the prison, in Supreme Court, and when it was on Signal Hill. With that out of the way, she could focus on this window into the past.
Basically, this is where he certifies that he examined the body of an inmate who was executed on the grounds of the prison. And the said William Parnell was dead. So there's actual records of some of the more historic events that we know of.
And it was this doctor's book that sparked interest from Memorial University's Madeline Mant.
But now I think we're just going to individually wrap these guys in bags. I've been doing work with the 19th century admission and discharge records from St. John's General Hospital. And so what I kept seeing were patients coming into the hospital from the penitentiary.
Mant came to Harvey seeking medical records, but found something even better. Funded by a grant from Memorial University, the items will be on display in the fall. For Harvey, a bittersweet victory.
So is this it for you for trying to collect these pieces of history?
Oh,
Will you still be hands-on?
Yeah, well, I'll always be hands-on. There's always something we're going to find down there that people are going to be amazed at.
Shanks and arsenic and executions. Wow.
Dave Harvey is a really cool guy, and he's really looking forward to this exhibition. It'll probably be sometime in November, so you're going to have to stay tuned. But the other interesting thing I couldn't fit in there is that through his research, he's found out that there are still 2 bodies buried where HMP is today, because they actually had hangings back then. That's how old the prison is.
Wow. Thanks, Ariana.
A rare appearance of a cruise ship is going to happen here in Happy Valley Goose Bay later this week. One business owner is offering an icy incentive for people to go out and pick up trash. I'll have more on that coming up on Here and Now.
Weather update is brought to you by Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 570 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
Now, before we get to the weather, we want to show you a photo of a bizarre, gross catch of the day along the island's northeast coast over the weekend.
Yeah, you could say it was 3 for the price of 1. Just have a look at this. Oh, yes, that's a capelin inside a codfish, inside a larger codfish.
Like a turducken.
Yes, that's right. Like Russian dolls. This is what Mark Sturge pulled out of the water this weekend, and he's pretty sure it only counts as 1 fish in his catch limit.
That's a good guess. Now, they did cook up the larger fish. I was wondering that, but not the smaller one, because he says it was starting to digest a little.
Ew.
Gross. Gross. Cool, though. Cool and gross.
Well, now it's time for a look at the weather forecast. And if you're in the east, you've probably noticed the cooler temperatures. Well, that is going to take a turn tomorrow. It's a return to the humidity tomorrow. So let's have a look, starting with the highs today. If I can get this going, here we are. The highs today, we're looking at 17 degrees in St. John's. That's all it was today. 26 in Badger, looks like the hot spot for today. And Labrador City also sitting at 17 degrees today. Now, we do have some showers for the Avalon overnight tonight and parts of the east, as well as for Labrador. So we're looking at this band of showers that will persist across Labrador overnight tonight, bringing lots of showers to the coast and to Lab West. So looking at about 5 millimeters of rain for Lab West, about 2 to 4 millimeters for Nain, and 5 millimeters along the coast. In the east, we're looking at about 5 millimeters for the St. John's area and the Avalon Peninsula, and could see some showers as well in central areas. Overnight lows between 14 and 15 degrees. Look at this lovely photo. Thank you very much, Ann Madden, for sending this in. It's fringed orchids from Butterpot Park. I just thought it was lovely and wanted to use it. So this is a look at the early morning tomorrow when you head out your door in the St. John's area. It's still going to be raining a bit in the morning, but temperatures starting at 17 degrees at about 6:30 tomorrow morning. So yeah, it's definitely going to be nice and warm as you head out. Look, the chance of showers for central areas and temperatures between 15 and 16 degrees. And for Labrador, looking at a mix of sun and cloud and some showers for the west to start your day. So yeah, Wednesday throughout the day, could see some showers in the morning for the east, but that's going to start to clear off, and some heavier showers coming through for Labrador later in the day. So in the east, we could see about 2 millimeters of rain in the morning, but then it should clear off to a mix of sun and cloud. And check out the humidex. So we're looking at a high of 22 degrees, but the humidex will be at 30. So it's going to feel much warmer tomorrow, certainly than it felt today. As we head into central, looking at a humidex of 27 there, and temperature highs about 22 degrees there as well, and a chance of showers in the morning as well. On the west coast, mostly a mix of sun and cloud for everyone. A humidex of 28, so it's going to be pretty humid over there as well. Along the straits, some cloudy skies for Mary's Harbor and a mix of sun and cloud for St. Anthony. A chance of showers for Cartwright, but temperatures in the mid-20s there. So Nain is going to get the bulk of the showers tomorrow. 5 to 10 millimeters of rain there, and a temperature of just 9 degrees, so much cooler there. And Labrador City looking at another 5 millimeters of rain throughout the day, and temperature high of 17 degrees. So that's your forecast. Ariana, back to you.
Thanks, Carolyn. A Happy Valley Goose Bay business wants to clean up the town one scoop at a time. Dee's Landing, a local convenience store, is offering free ice cream to anyone who goes out and cleans up the town's main stretch. It's all in preparation for a cruise ship that will arrive later this week, carrying more than 400 visitors. Our Jacob Barker grabbed a garbage bag this afternoon in hopes of cashing in on this sweet deal.
Hey, Darrell.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I got this bag of garbage.
Awesome. So you're ready for your free ice cream?
Yeah, I definitely am.
All right, put her in. All
right. So that's my ice cream?
Peanut butter fudge crunch is what it's
Peanut
called.
butter fudge crunch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Jacob.
What do you think of the state of the side of the road here?
I think it's discouraging. There are still a few of us out there that would like to see it cleaned up. So if we spread that attitude around, then hopefully everybody will kind of like adapt to learning to pick it up as they see it, no matter if it's in their driveway or in a grocery store parking lot.
So I was out today picking up trash on the side of the road. I found some pretty gross things out there.
Yeah, I bet. Hopefully we can learn and work together to come up with more initiatives to keep our community clean. Maybe another business will take on the next initiative. Who knows? Hopefully so.
Why right now are you doing this?
All right, so there's a cruise ship coming to town on Thursday, and I'm a part of the welcoming committee for the ship. And of course, there's a trash problem in Happy Valley Goose Bay. So it was tossed around the table many times. What are we going to do to get this place cleaned up? So I came up with the idea, and I wasn't sure how it was going to play out because I didn't really want people taken from their home to, the point is to get it off the streets. So my sister came up with the idea that, well, you're going to have to bring photo evidence that you actually picked it up on Hamilton River Road.
We're talking about tourists coming into town, but do you think that really needs to be the reason why we clean up?
Definitely not. This is just a very good excuse at this point, maybe to get some more things going. And I think it starts with us as people personally. Like, if you see a small bit of trash, pick it up, put it in the next trash can. It'll make a difference at the end of the day.
An ice cream incentive certainly does help too.
Yeah, well, everybody loves ice cream, and if you don't, you're a part of a very small group of people. So I thought that the ice cream would kind of draw people towards it. It's nearing the end of the summer now, and it's a good little family activity. Go out, pick up a bag of trash each, and come down and enjoy an ice cream.
Thanks so much for speaking with us today, and thanks for the ice cream.
Thank you for bringing a bag of garbage, Jacob. I really appreciate it.
All right. That's good.
He definitely earned that ice cream.
He did. That was an excellent bribe incentive.
Great
and
incentive.
Good news for anyone in Happy Valley Goose Bay who wants to get in on the free ice cream. I wish that we could, but the shop has extended the deal to all day tomorrow.
Good. Hopefully it'll clean it up. Well, city crews have dug up a bit of mystery in Kitty Vitty Village. A large concrete wall was unearthed while making room to build a cul-de-sac near the plantation center. It's drawn the attention of many onlookers, locals and tourists alike. According to a local archaeologist, it's something they were expecting to find.
It's the foundational remains of a greenhouse that was established here by the Americans during the Second World War, I guess.
City staff say the building was originally constructed to be a sewage pump house. Now, the glass walls and ceilings likely had a use in processing raw sewage, and the locals may have called it a greenhouse because, well, it kind of sounds better than the alternative.
The issues that exist in Toronto and Vancouver as examples are not at all the same as the issues that exist in St. John's.
Over the past 2 weeks, several hospitality groups have called for tighter restrictions for Airbnb. Next, we talk to one Airbnb owner who urges government to carefully study the industry.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, as you heard earlier in the show, St. John's is pressuring the province to put tighter regulations on short-term rental properties. The city says it's losing $300,000 each year, largely due to unregistered rentals like Airbnb. The hospitality industry agrees. Here and Now, Zach Gowdy spoke with an Airbnb host for his perspective.
So I have a single Airbnb rental. It is a guest suite in my home. So I live above and I have the guest suite below. Built it for, my parents who are out of the province when they visit, but it's not in use a lot of the time. So find another use for it.
Some of the things that, these two industry groups are calling for seem to me fairly innocuous. Things like registering, things like having, health and safety, concerns addressed on site. But there are two big issues I wanted to put to you. One is these industry groups want a hard cap on the number of nights per year that you can rent a property as an Airbnb. What do you think of that idea?
I think that's problematic, especially when you consider the fact that Airbnbs, by and large, are people's homes. So what we're really saying is we're gonna have a conversation about how people can use the space they've already purchased, their spare bedrooms as an example. If my parents come and stay with me, is that one of my nights under a cap? If my parents come and stay with me and then buy me dinner, did we just have a transaction? So it becomes very complicated when you're trying to regulate how people use their space. I think a hard cap on that's problematic.
The other big one that seems to have a lot of teeth is the idea that they want to limit the rentals of Airbnb to principal residences only, which is to say you can rent a room in your house like you're doing, but you cannot buy another house down the road and rent that out wholesale. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that?
Again, that ties a little back to the problems I mentioned about the housing market right now and the vacancy rate right now. In St. John's, we have over a 7% vacancy rate. So that's a lot different than Toronto, which is a 0.9% vacancy rate, right? As well, we have a struggling housing market, quite frankly, which has a lot of spin-off effects like a struggling construction industry. So anything that's encouraging people to buy units, I think at this point in time is valuable. And so we just need to consider how regulations are going to impact that. There is a difference in hosts who rent a room in their house and hosts who are doing this on a larger scale and are starting to snap up units left and right. That's why I think, just again, a localized assessment needs to occur, and even a better understanding of the platform and an understanding of the different types of hosts. I've been saying this entire time, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. We need to better understand how people are using Airbnb and really what the numbers are here, the hosts like myself versus hosts with more units. But it's something that just needs a further look, and this national study doesn't do enough.
And finally, do you think that the Airbnb, we're talking about some of the problems with Airbnb, but do you think that there are benefits to the service that are, happening in cities like St. John's that maybe are being overlooked in these studies?
Without a doubt, and that's really a message that I think needs to be talked about more, and I want to deliver. When you look at studies nationally, internationally about how people interact with Airbnb, generally people who are staying on that platform stay longer, as much as 2 times, spend more money, again, as much as 2 times, and in many cases, I think the number is about 41% of the money they spend is in the neighborhood in which they stay. So when we look, again, at downtown St. John's as an example, and you see small businesses closing left and right, local people who are struggling, and we have an industry that's by all accounts propping that up, I urge government to consider what the impact of heavy-handed, knee-jerk regulations without better understanding the impact of the industry on our city could do to small business here.
It's a serious issue in our times, Brandon. Thanks for your insight on it.
Yeah, pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for having me.
Still with travel, it appears Air Canada is once again taking Aeroplan under its wing. The frequent flyer points program used to belong to the airline until it was spun off into an independent business. When Air Canada tried to buy it back last month, the offer was rejected, but today a higher price was provisionally accepted. As Scott Peterson reports, that signals smoother air ahead for frequent flyer points collectors.
Air Canada is promising a seamless transition for any Aeroplan points holders out there and saying that they will not notice any difference whatsoever when it comes to buying or saving your points. In a statement, the CEO, Kaitlin Osmond, saying that we are pleased to see that an agreement in principle has been reached as Aeroplan members can continue to earn and redeem with confidence. And that confidence word is to assure Canadians and the 5 million points holders out there that they will continue to have their points being honored. Now, we're also seeing that this is being backed up in the price of this deal. $450 million is the price tag, plus the assumption of $1.9 billion in debt. That's the liability of all those points that are out there that have already been accumulated by Canadians. Now, this is a total of $2.35 billion. Because of that price tag, Air Canada is leading a consortium of TD Bank, CIBC, and Visa. And it looks like this deal does have a chance of going through. It is subject to shareholders' opinions, but the board of directors of both companies have in fact approved it. There's also some question what's going to happen to the deals that Aimia has already cut, and of course that's the parent of Aeroplan, with Flair, with Air Transit, and with Porter, and whether those deals will be cut. Air Canada not commenting yet on if there will be a relationship will be honored. Aimia is saying that it is up to the consortium, so one thing for sure, there's lots of questions whether Air Canada will want to honor that as this deal goes through. Scott Peterson, CBC News, Toronto.
The Shalloway Youth Choir is in South Africa. Just ahead, see how one show turned into a group performance. Well, it's been a cool last couple of days.
It really
Even the
has.
window, I've kind of closed it, a little chilly, but that's going to change, right?
It is. It's looking like a return to some warmer temperatures tomorrow. Now, granted, the rest of the island has been enjoying some warm temperatures, just us in the east complaining and having it a bit cool. So we do have some showers moving through tonight in the east and through Labrador. Looking at about 5 millimeters of rain for Labrador West, 2 to 4 in the Nain area, and could see about 5 millimeters of rain for the Avalon Peninsula overnight tonight. Things should start to clear though in the day, looking at mainly sun and cloud for the island. And just look at these showers coming in. This is a pretty heavy band of rain coming through for Lab West. We'll see that play out in just a moment. So these are your temperatures for tomorrow. You can see temperature highs around 22 degrees, 23 degrees, but the humidex is what's going to make it quite warm. So in the east, we're looking at a humidex of 30. And so all over the island, it's going to be between 27 and 30 tomorrow. So while the temperature highs are just around 22 degrees, it should feel warmer than that, and some morning showers for the east, but that should clear off throughout the day. Now in Labrador, Nain is going to get the bulk of the showers tomorrow, about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain there, and cooler temperatures as well, 5 millimeters of rain for Lab West. So Wednesday night into Thursday is when Labrador is going to see most of that rain, and it's looking like it could get pretty heavy. Now the island is looking at some rain as well, but not as much as Labrador. So for Thursday afternoon, overnight Wednesday into Thursday, could be about 15 to 25 millimeters of rain for western Labrador. Temperatures around 18 degrees. Periods of rain as well for eastern Labrador, and on the island in the east, looking at some afternoon showers there, 25 degrees. So you can see the temperatures are really bumping up to the mid-20s once again. So that's pretty good. So we're heading into Thursday evening into Friday. We are seeing some more showers in the east, starting to clear a little bit in Labrador, but some showers in the western areas there. But Friday morning, we're looking at some heavier showers coming through, particularly you can see on the Avalon Peninsula. This is 11 o'clock on Friday morning. So yeah, we're looking at some morning, afternoon showers, 24 degrees, so we're still in the mid-20s on Friday afternoon. Chance of showers for central and 25 as the high there, and sun and cloud in the west as well, so a chance of showers as well for western Labrador. So here is the long range the next 5 days. Saturday, Sunday for the east looking pretty good so far. Temperatures in the low 20s with a mix of sun and cloud. Similar story for central, but the temperatures just a little bit warmer for the weekend. And western Newfoundland looking great for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For eastern Labrador, chance of showers, lots of scattered showers throughout the rest of the week there. And for western Labrador, those showers continue as well, and temperatures just hovering below the 20-degree mark. Ariana?
Well, the Shalloway Youth Choir is on a trip to South Africa at the moment. A couple of days ago, they performed for school children in Soweto, a township making up Johannesburg. But the choir soon had the audience join in what became a group performance. Just take a look. That's a nice video. Well, a minor league baseball team from British Columbia is giving sports fans something to cheer about. For the first time in 6 years, the Canadians have beaten their rival Mexican team to advance in the prestigious Little League World Series. CBC's Devin Haru has this report from Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Place was electric last night. What a scene it was. A redemption on the mind of the young Canadians as they took to the field. But let me tell you, I was traveling around this baseball complex yesterday, and not many people were giving the young BC boys a chance against the mighty Mexicans, but they mounted a 6-1 lead. Then it was 6-4. Bottom of the sixth inning, the final inning, the bases loaded, 2 outs, when a Mexican line drive right to the pitcher, Nate Kalina, he caught it, he held on to that ball. Here's a cute story. Nate Kalina, after the game, Heather, telling me that all he could think about when that ball was screaming towards him was, don't drop the ball. He didn't drop the ball. Canada winning this thrilling game here, and you showed the pictures of the proud parents. This is the magic of the Little League World Series here in Williamsport. You have proud parents. You have these 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids playing on the field of dreams, and this Wally, British Columbia team, their magical run continues here. We asked them, how are they going to celebrate? And all the kids yelled at me, we're having pizza, because on Saturday night when they won a marathon thriller, they had pizza. So stick with what's working, eat that pizza, get ready for another baseball game. Just up the hill from Volunteer Stadium is a historic Lamity Park. What a setting that is. Yes, they go to the big park. They take on Puerto Rico. For Puerto Rico, this is more than just a baseball game. I'm learning that this team was in the throes of the hurricane last fall in Puerto Rico. They used baseball to keep it positive. Now they take on the Canadians, 3 p.m. Eastern time. First pitch should be dramatic yet again on the Field of Dreams.
That's the CBC's Devin Haru taking a break from curling to report from the Little League World Series.
Well, Donald Trump's former personal attorney has pled guilty to 8 charges as part of a plea deal. Michael Cohen appeared in a federal court in New York this afternoon. The charges relate to campaign finance fraud as well as bank fraud and income tax evasion. The deal could have dramatic implications for the U.S. president. Prosecutors were looking into a $130,000 hush money payment Cohen facilitated to adult actress Stormy Daniels just a few weeks before the 2016 presidential election, and whether that constituted a campaign finance violation. As part of his plea agreement, Cohen could be sentenced to 5 years in prison.
And Paul Manafort has been found guilty on 8 of 18 charges, but the U.S. jury deliberating in the financial fraud trial of former Trump campaign chairman was deadlocked on the remaining 10 charges. After 4 days of deliberation, they found Manafort guilty on 5 counts of tax fraud, 1 of hiding foreign bank accounts, and 2 of bank fraud. Each count comes with the prospect of jail time, up to 30 years on some counts.
Back to our shores now for our viewer photo of the day. Isn't this eerie looking?
It is eerie, yeah. It looks like the scene from a horror movie.
It does. Very, a lot of fog there for sure. I'll let you know where in the province this was taken after the break. Welcome back. The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary is wishing a happy retirement to one of its 4-legged members. After 7 years with the force, police service dog Dyson will retire this week.
He was partnered with Constable Russ Moores in 2013 and specialized in detecting explosives. However, Moores was recently promoted and is now assigned elsewhere within the RNC. Dyson will spend his retirement with the Moores family. Happy retirement.
Nice, a leisurely lifestyle from now on. on. All right, so let's get to our viewer photo of the day. Yes, this was taken in Spaniards Bay.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot.
Great
Very
shot. Thank you very much, Gary Gleason, for sending this into our email address, nlphotos@cbc.ca. Fantastic shot.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Good night, everyone.